Hello everybody, this is an advanced tutorial video for cases 37 and 38. What case 37 is when you have a solved pair and if you wanted to move it. A lot of people don't consider this a case at all. Usually when you pull a PDF for learning F2L, it'll just show this as being solved, and it says that there's no algorithms for it because it's already solved. But if it's case 37 also applies to, if the pair is in the wrong slot. And generally when it's in the wrong slot, what we do is we just leave it. And, so in this case, this is in the green and orange slot, so we would solve for green and orange. And it usually kicks this out as a pair or as an easy case. Not all the time. If you were to do this insertion, it would kick it out like this, and you would have to, do something to get it out. But usually you just kind of keep it there for safekeeping. And once it kicks out in the top layer, you track it and you insert it. But a lot of people will say there's only 41 cases and they don't count this. This is absolutely a case, so we're going to cover it, regardless of if you use it or not. There's every once in a while you're going to want to use it probably, but for the most part you won't. Case 38 is this, where we just have a flipped edge. So we're going to cover that in this video too. But I mean, just to put it in perspective, when people are saying there's only 41 cases or 42 cases, just having a pair in your top layer, there's 64 very different cases for a pair being in your top layer. And if you watch my first video, we cover all 64 of those cases. So I don't know where that 42 comes from. There's easily over 700, 800 cases. Anyway, done with my rant. So if you want to move this solved pair to this slot, I do a sledgehammer, and it kicks it out here, and then you can just insert it. So that would be an L prime. Or you can do what I just did there. You can just pull it out, and then you can hedge slammer it in. If you wanted to go back here, the best way I found is to regrip here. Do an R, U, R, F, R2, F prime. I'll kick it there. Do the same thing from the back. I'm not going to go over these for very long because, again, we're probably not even really going to use them. This one I think might come in handy if you wanted to swap this guy with this guy. It's gonna, whatever's here is gonna go here, whatever's here is gonna go here. But if you're kind of at a loss during looking ahead for your next pair, and you see, let's say you're right here, this needs to go here, and you're kind of curious as to what's going on here. Just so you don't have any pauses, you just deal with this case. And the way you can swap these is you regrip here, pull up, then pull up here, U2, put them both down. So it's just going to swap those pairs. And that's, pretty easy to do from all angles. Alright, so enough of that. For case 38, to set this up, let's do a D prime. Sledgehammer. We're going to insert this with an R, U prime, R prime, D. That's exactly what we're going to do if you have available slots and it needs to stay in this slot. So to flip this edge, what we're going to do is use any one of these three available slots. So if this slot's available, you do a D prime. So you're just borrowing this corner that's not solved yet. You're going to do a sledgehammer that's going to flip this edge and put it right here. Then insert it, and then you're going to put this back. So it's a keyhole thing. You can also do it with this slot. You just do a D, sledgehammer, insert, D prime. You can even do it with this slot. Just do a D2, D2, sledgehammer, reinstall the edge, D2 back. So if you have any slots available, that's the way to go for this case, as long as it's going to stay in this position. Let's see, if you don't, well, if you kick this out with an R, U prime, R prime, and you split it up, you have this non-oriented case. And in my video for this, what I suggested doing, or what I usually do, is I get this edge over here, hide it, put this in, gives you this case. You can pair it up, and then it's not oriented. You got to hedge slammer it in. That's too many moves for this case. Because generally, when you're dealing with this and you're not doing the keyhole, it's the last slot. So I got a way I think is better. I don't do it normally because it's not good for look ahead for the next pairs, but it's good if it's your last pair. So what you do is you're still going to pull it out with an R, U prime, R prime. And then I do a fat R. So I put both of these right in the front here. I do a U2, get this in the back. I do an R2 to pair them up. U, so now I have a block here. R2, U, fat R back. And that won't mess with any of these, and it'll fix this. So again, that's R, U prime, R prime, fat R prime, U2, fat R2, U, fat R2, U, fat R. That's what I do for this every time. That's if it's going in the slot. If you want to tackle this case and it's in a different slot, so when it's in the right slot, it's not oriented. So if it's in this spot or it's opposite, this diagonal one, it won't be oriented. But if it's in any of these two slots, the slots adjacent, it will be. So it's not oriented. If we put it here, it will be oriented. If we put it here, it will also be oriented. And not only that, we know it's not in the right slot and it's oriented. We see a bar here. This tells us they need to go here. And not only that, so if they need to go there, it doesn't matter what's in here. It's not solid because these are the pieces that need to go here. So we can use this slot to pair these up. So what I do is I pay attention to where this bar is and I go, okay, this slot is available in the back. I do an R, U prime, R prime. Now I haven't oriented one of these cases. I know I can use this slot before I even pulled it out. So I do another R prime, U2, R. Pair it up. You can insert. So again, I'm oriented, so I know it needs to go to an adjacent slot, not an opposite slot. And this blue and blue tells me it needs to go here. So since these need to be here, this is available, no matter what's in there. So if it's in the back, I do an R, U prime, R prime, another R prime, because I can use this slot, U2, R, to pair it up, then I can insert it. That's not right. So let's see. If it's here and it's oriented, let's do the front first. And I see that there's a bar here. I know it needs to go here. So I can use this slot. So I still just pull it out the same way, but then I do a U2. So I can use this slot to pair these up. And it's oriented. You go in. So if it's in the back, let's see. Just like this, you just pull it up. You know you can use this slot because the blues were here. Just like that. And then if it's here and it's in the back, I know it needs to go here, so I also know I can use this slot to pair these. So I pull them out, just do it like that. If it's in the back and I see it's oriented. I know that these must be paired up so it can go here. I can use this slot. So I break it up, do a U2. Then I can use this slot to pair it up. So it just, if you stop and think about it, just seeing the case and seeing if it's oriented or not, it'll tell you, okay, well, it needs to go here and I can use this to help pair it up. Now, if it's not oriented and it's not in this slot, generally what I would do, I do one of two things. If I'm at a loss for look ahead and I'm having trouble finding something, I'll go ahead and just turn it into this case and leave it there. So if I know it needs to go here, I can always do a D2, turn it into case 37 for later. And as I'm doing it with muscle memory, I'm looking for other pieces. And at some point, I'll, solve this. This will be in a better position to be inserted. Or, you could just take it out like this, do a U2, and you have this case where you can solve it the same way. So yeah, this is a pretty tricky case, but if you plan it out and you just give yourself some ground rules. What I do is my ground rules. I say, if I want to tackle it and I have available slots, keyhole all day long. You can use any one of them, these three. Putting it here, flipping your edge and putting it back. It's not going to mess with anything else. Or if it's not there and it's going in this slot, this insert all day. It's actually kind of fun too. Easy to do from the back, left, right, and everything. And then also, paying attention to, hey, this is oriented and this is a line. I know I can use this, and when I pull this out, this will be oriented. So I can use that slot to get it where it needs to be. You're going to know where it needs to go, quicker than a lot of other cases before you even touch it. And then with the opposite one, depending on what you're doing, if you want to if it's never a bad idea to just make this a better case and let it sit there. All right, we only got one more video left. It's going to be cases 39, 40, 41, and 42. And until next time, hope you liked it. We'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.